Next, we welcome Luke Michael Howard, a clinical hypnotist with 25 years of experience and more than 10,000 clients helped. In his session, How to Be Unhypnotized by Your Thoughts, Luke introduces a model to help clients break free from distorted thinking and reconnect with clarity and truth. He's known for his scary but with heart style and his deep training across hundreds of modalities. Please give a warm HEA welcome to Luke Michael Howard presenting How to Be Unhypnotized by Your Thoughts.
Awesome. Welcome. It's all yours, my friend.
And doesn't it feel great to be alive wherever you are in the world today? Let me talk to you. It's Sunday, and you know what that means. Hello, I'm here to help you to become dehypnotized, get out of your trancey state. I know it's Sunday morning for most of you in the Western world right now. So I'm going to ask that you wake the hell up. And I know we've been doing this jazz hands business for everyone else, and that's all well and lovely. But so today, in order for me to know that you are still awake, alive and alert, because that's how I get energy, I might ask you to give me the X with your hands. That's just so I know that you're fully taking part. And that's my round of applause when you give me the X. Thank you so very, very much. So let's do something to warm up your imaginations. Follow me. Put your hands like this. Now do this. Now do this. Now do this. Thank you. But seriously, do this. Thumbs facing up in the air. Now make your thumbs down like so. Now cross your left hand over your right like so and interlock your hands with your thumbs facing down. Keep your hands connected with your thumbs facing down. Yeah, even you, Tracy, in the corner there with your thumbs facing down. And on three, copy me. 1, 2, 3. Now go like this. Very good. Hey, what I'm going to present with you today or to you today is a model. You don't have to do this. Sometimes I teach this stuff and people are like, I don't want to teach it. You don't have to do what I'm about to show you. It's just a model. It's something that I sometimes use. I do not always use it, but it's very, very powerful. Now, how I look at working with clients is there's multiple levels of working with people. There's working with people on the lowest level, which is a behavior. They're biting their nails, they're smoking, they're drinking too much. They want to get rid of the behavior. I see that as a low-hanging fruit of a problem. Next logical level up is dealing with their feelings, dealing with their emotions. I'm feeling too much anxiety. Oh, I'm feeling really sad right now. I've got a lot of shame. Dealing with people on an emotional level. That's the next level up. Then there's working with people on a belief, on a cognitive level. I believe I'm not good enough. I'm not handsome enough. I'll never be able to make enough money. I will never be able to hypnotize this client. Oh, I'm just a phony. I am just pretending to be a hypnotist, this imposter syndrome. So working with people's beliefs, right? It's the next level up. Next level up from there is working with people on the level of thought. I have these bad thoughts, Luke. I have these thoughts to do harm to other people. I have these thoughts to do harm with myself. These obsessive, compulsive thoughts. I don't like them. I want to change the thought. Next level up is working with people on a thought level. I'm not teaching you any of that today. There's many other modalities will help you with all of those issues and those subcategories. The level I work on and the deepest level I find to get the most generative change with people is to work with people on a thinking level, on the level of thought, on the level of thinking the thought. So I have a question for you, and you can put this in the comments. I'll give you a moment. Imagine, I work with a lot of people with anxiety. It's one of the many issues as well as addiction. But here's a riddle for you. All right. And I want you to put your answers in the comments that I'm looking at right now. Imagine that you're trapped in a room with no windows and no doors. How do you get out? And this is the bit where you put via your mind, says Georgia.
The window.
Over the roof. The floor, says Megan. Tracy says ceiling roof. Imagination. Oh, well, Amanda gets imagination. Good. So If you're trapped in a room with no windows and doors, how do you get out? You stop imagining. I'm working on the level of thought. And when we change the way that people think about stuff, they don't have to worry about reframing the belief. They don't have to worry about letting go of the uncomfortable feeling, because there's an acceptance. It's just a thought. But Luke, it's a thought. It's just a thought. And I don't say that to demean you or any of our clients or myself. Thoughts can be quite prickly from time to time. But I work with clients to get to the level of it's just a thought. It seems like a simple concept. It might take an hour or so to get there. But I want to get people on the level of, I don't need to clear up my anxiety. I don't need to go to the root cause of my PTSD or my trauma. Because when you realize it's just a thought, it's just one of the 60,000 thoughts that bubble up in our mind. That's the level I work with on people, the deepest level I found. All right, another question for you guys. Imagine, you're all hypnotists, I imagine, NLP coaches. Imagine in my hands right now, in one of my hands, I was holding a feather. A feather. And the other one of my hands, I was holding a 50-pound or 22.5 kilo kettlebell. What thought weighs more? The thought labeled feather or the thought labeled 50-pound kettlebell, 22.5 kilogram for my British fans, kettlebell? What thought weighs more? The thought labeled kettlebell or the thought labeled feather? Put it in the comments right now. So I've got kettlebell, says Melanie. I've got, I hope I pronounce your name right. It's a cool name. Winter says bell, kettlebell. Lucia says bell. And we've got Tracy and we've got Sheena. I think it's Sheena. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. You win the prize for Sunday morning. They both weigh the same, or they don't weigh anything. There is no weight ascribed to any of our thoughts. There's no weight. Now think about how that applies to the thought of, I'm about to have a panic attack. When I speak to that pretty girl, I'm going to be shaking. When I give that presentation to those Fortune 500 people, they're going to see I'm an imposter. I'm going to be shaking. I'll be feel so much anxiety. Or I've got to teach a class now to have a hypnotist. Oh my God, they're going to see that I'm not real, that I'm making this shit up. Side note, we're all making this shit up all of the time. That's right. There's no inherent weight to any of our thought. Let me say that again. There's no inherent weight to any of our thoughts. Power of three, there's no inherent weight to any of our thoughts. Think about how that applies to the client with the anxiety, the client with the deep sadness, the client with the deep shame, the deep guilt. All of my work is directed in dropping stories, dropping psychological experiments, if you will, like the feather, like the kettlebell, to start to get people questioning, not reframing. Make no mistake about it. Very powerful technique, reframing. This ain't about reframing. It's about questioning your thought. Questioning your thought. So if there's no inherent weight between a feather and a kettlebell, they both weigh the same. How much weight am I ascribing to the emotion that I'm dealing with now, called anxiety? How much weight am I ascribing to this emotion called deep sadness of my dad passing away? How much weight am I ascribing to the deep shame that I have when it relates to sexual issues? All of my work gears around metaphors, psychological experiments. Sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? Psychological experiments. I don't mean we're sticking needles in you. Well, not physically. How could I? We're on Zoom, but I mean metaphorically, prodding and poking to get people to question their thought. So I'm going to show you a picture right now. My girlfriend's French, the Hypnopixie. You might know the Hypnopixie. Give me an X if you know the Hypnopixie. There you go. Hypnopixie. You're getting about half the people. Yeah. All right, she's in the other room. I'm going to show you a picture. In the comments below, what is the picture? Just put in the comments what is this picture? Or what is it? Actually, what is this? What is this? Put it in your comments. So I've got a pipe, a pipe, a pipe, a pipe. And I'm going to butcher this because I ain't French. Hypnopixie is. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. It's French for this is not a pipe. This is a picture of a pipe. This is not a pipe. This is a picture of the pipe. Oh, I'm having anxiety when I think about speaking to that pretty girl, pretty guy next week. This is a picture of a pipe. That's a picture of the event that's coming. In the same way, this is not a pipe. The thought is just labeled me having anxiety talking to the pretty girl or the handsome man. It's not the event. It's the thought labeled anxiety. It's the thought labeled fear. This is not a pipe. It's a picture of a pipe. I'm anxious. I can't talk to him. Oh, I'm thinking about my dad passing away 3 years ago and I'm really sad. It's the thought labeled dad passing away. It's the thought labeled pipe. It's the thought labeled can't talk to the pretty girl. It's the thought labeled when I play snooker later on today, my shoulder's going to tremor and I'm going to have performance anxiety issues. It's the thought labeled. This is the level I work with people. We're not trying to reframe, valuable technique. We're not trying to release some emotion, valuable technique. Because I know, been doing this for 25 years, 26 years next year, of course. We're all gonna feel shitty emotions we don't want to feel. Anxiety, sadness, guilt, shame, they're gonna come up no matter how much timeline therapy, regression work we've done. Shit is gonna happen and we're gonna feel stuff we don't want to feel. This is called life. We're also going to have voices inside our head, like Randy Orton would say. Voices that from time to time say, we're not good enough. We'll never be able to make enough money, never attract the ideal partner. This is called life. And yeah, we can put band-aids on it. We can reframe and use affirmations. And by the way, they're all useful, the other techniques. All very, very useful at certain times. But they're not addressing it at the top level of 4. When I work with clients, and I get through the end of the process, I'm fast forwarding a little bit to the end here, but it all makes sense when we join the dot to dots. I want if my client has an addiction, that's what I'm known for, right? Addiction to smoking, an addiction to drinking, an addiction to drugging, an addiction to masturbation, whatever it is. I know as a human being, even if I'm the best change worker in the world, go like this, go like this. Like this. I know that thought labeled not good enough, chronic masturbator, I need to drink alcohol right now in order to fit in, I need a drug, whatever it is. I know the thought's going to come up even if the work is done. And the client gets scared. Luke, I haven't drunk since I last saw you in 2 months. I'm like, congratulations, you're doing fucking amazing. Yeah, but I still have the thought. They think the pipe is the pipe. They think the thought is them doing the habit. So even though they're not doing the problem anymore, there's the fear of the thought. The thought means it hasn't gone away. Oh, look, I haven't drank drug, I haven't done anxiety, but sometimes a thought comes up and I'm scared of the thought. I don't know about you. I have a lot of crazy thoughts. In fact, every Sunday, about 11:31, I have a bloody noisy neighbour. And he chooses to fight with his girlfriend or wife. Every Sunday, this is a true story, about this time. And I'm sitting on the toilet doing my business and I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting annoyed. It happens every bloody Sunday. And I entertain thoughts. Don't tell anyone of doing vicious things to him. As long as it's in my head, I'm never going to get arrested. As long as I never reach through the wall and stab him, it never happens. I can think the most outlandish, crazy, scary stuff, but as long as I never do it, it never affects me. And I'm not scared of my thoughts. Every story I tell and all the work that I do is gearing clients around. This is a picture of a pipe. It's not a pipe. This is a picture of creating massive murder. But it isn't massive murder. This is a picture, an image, a sensation, a sound that I've labeled anxiety, shame, guilt. By the way, none of that shit existed a couple of years ago. Not a couple of years, a couple of 100 years ago. But we got labels for it, and labels can be useful. Labels can be useful. Labels can also keep people trapped. Oh, I'm anxious. Well, you're not anxious. You do anxiety. I'm really depressed. You're not depressed. You're doing depression. Oh, I'm a shameful human being. You're not a shameful human being. You're doing the program called Shameful Human Being. Once you can invite those thoughts to come in, you can have these outlandish thoughts. I'm the alcoholic. Oh, the thought labeled drinking a bottle of wine comes into my head. It's just a thought. It doesn't weigh any more than the thought labeled feather and the thought labeled kettlebell. They weigh the same. A lot of my work is geared towards helping people come to the understanding you do not need to be scared of your thoughts because they're just thoughts. There's a great equation, and I don't know who came up with this equation, but it goes something like this. Experience times resistance equals suffering. Experience, shit's happening, times resistance, don't like it, equals suffering. Oh, it's not happening right now, but when I think about it happening in the past or think about it happening in the future, I'm suffering. Existence times resistance equals suffering. I'm in the business of helping clients end suffering. I don't mean doing euthanasia on them or anything like that. I mean helping them get to a point where they stop suffering. Because I don't know about you. Then there's 25 years. I don't know, 10,000 clients for every problem you want to imagine, and some stuff you never, ever want to imagine. But most of my clients' problem isn't the thing that happened when they were 12 for 5 minutes. It was horrendous, but it happened for 5 minutes and it never happened again. They're now 55, but they're still suffering because of the thought labeled abuse, the thought labeled bullying, the thought labeled rape, the thought labeled shame. We can't go back and change it. Now, I know some of you are going to say, we can regress them. Yeah, we can. But we can't really go back, as in getting on a DeLorean time machine and flow all the way back to physically go there. It's happened. Same thing in the future. Future's never happened. But this is where we have anxiety. What if it goes wrong? What if it don't go the way that I want? Neither of those exist in my model of the world. Future and past are here. They're suffering now. Now, whether they're suffering because of the thought was labeled in the past, mum neglected me, dad didn't give me enough love, or it's in the future, or when I get on that plane tomorrow, I hate planes, and I know I hate planes because I've been on planes before, and they shake and I get really scared. But I'm having fear for tomorrow that hasn't happened yet. These are all thoughts labeled fear, thoughts labeled shame. You hear the language in. It's not to in any way, shape or form downplay what people are feeling. Please make no mistake about it. But by merely attaching the thought labeled, the feeling labeled, to go NLP on us, or you, it's given that extra level of dissociation from the problem. It isn't my anxiety, my shame, my guilt. Oh, there's that thought labeled anxiety popping up again. I wonder how long that's going to last today. Oh, there's that thought labeled deep grieving because my dad passed away 3 years ago and I didn't get to say goodbye. Wonder how long that thought's going to stick around for. It's getting people okay with their thoughts. When people get okay with their thoughts, it goes back to the equation once again of experience times resistance equals suffering. We're taking out the resistance. I can't have the thought. If I have the thought, the hypnosis didn't work, the healing didn't work, the psychotherapy, counseling, CBT, timeline therapy, regression to full cause, it didn't work. That's just a thought. It didn't work is just a thought. I want to share an experiment with you now that I do with clients that can't quite wrap their mind around this concept. And some of you might be there as well now, and that's okay. I want to do a little experiment with all of you, right? I'm going to walk you through it. Take your left hand, and if it's something around you like a table, put your hand on the table. If it's not a table, put it on your couch or put it on the wall, but just put your hand on a surface. I'm putting my hand on my Gary Shandling book. And as you put your hand on whatever the surface it is, be it wall, be it table, be it book, I want you to start to notice sensation, the heat or lack thereof, the moisture, the heaviness or the lightness, the relaxation of the muscles and the tendons in the hand or the tightness. Just notice now, and I'll shut up for a moment as you experience away from story, away from narrative. It's Beryl's favorite word, isn't it? Narrative. Away from story, away from narrative, and away from labels like anxiety or emotion or fear. Just observe your hand on the surface on a purely factual level. As Bruce Willis said in Die Hard 2, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Feel in your hand, notice the temperature, notice the weight, notice the heat, the distribution of weight, the resistance. Just notice the experience of your hand without story, without narrative, without emotion, just the facts. Take a moment and just feel into the sensation of your hand on that surface. All right, when you're done, I'd be curious if you put some words in the comments what your experience was of your hand on the surface. Please put some comments in there right now. And I'll tell you why this is useful when working with clients. Awareness, presence. Okay, warmth, comfort. That's more like it. Awareness and presence is lovely language. I love it. It's a bit emotional and it's a bit unfactual. But it's okay. I know you probably haven't done this before. Some other people have put warmth and comfort, a sensory level. Table smooth. Cold, then warm, says Lucia. Dennis, pressure and coolness. Patty says cool tingling. So when I was doing a talk 3 weeks ago at Canadian Hypnosis Conference, and there was a lady in the audience, and she was like, no, but what if you're having a panic attack, Luke? And this is what I should have done with her. Because when I get clients to speak from the level of experience, not emotion, oh, this happened to me in the past. Oh, this is going to happen to me next week. Oh, this is the emotion, Luke. Oh, Luke, this is the story behind it. No, I don't care about any of that stuff. Keeps them stuck. I only want to talk about what's real. What's real in the moment, and that's only what could ever be real, is what's happening in the moment, is the hand on the surface. So if I know that I'm going to get a lot of narrative from clients, a lot of story, if I know they're going to give me a lot of emotionally charged words like anxiety, panic attack, PTSD, CPTSD, I know it's going to keep them stuck because they're working on the label. The label's bullshit. Every label is merely, every condition is merely the things you're seeing in your head, the sounds you're experiencing in your noggin, the sensations you're feeling on your body. So someone says, I'm having a panic attack. Great, close your eyes. And in the same way you described in factual language, just the facts, man, remember Bruce Willis, just the facts. In the way that you explained factually your hand, this should be a Bible, shouldn't it, given it's Sunday? Or we're going to go to court. Putting your hand on the book in the same way I say to my client, you described your hand on the surface. Do that, but do that with the emotion labeled anxiety or whatever the emotion is, or the event labeled trauma, whatever it is. And then initially they'll go into, oh, I feel anxious. Oh, and I stay away from emotions and labels, remember? Oh, yeah, okay. So remember, cool, hot, what is that? Oh, it feels a bit light, it feels a bit heavy. Oh, I remember when my mum, stay away from story, stay away from narrative. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just feel this tension here in my solar plexus. And it's like it's red. And now it's moving up the carotid artery into my brain, into the side of my neck. Oh, and now there's a pulsating. And it feels tight, it feels anxious. Now stay away from emotion. Remember the hand on the book. Oh yeah, look, it feels pulsating. And now there's some restriction to it. So now we've taken away from label, anxiety, whatever the issue was. I'm just using anxiety. You can input your own emotion or your own behavioral or your own belief. We've gotten away from story. Oh, wow, this is happening because just remember, hand on the book, describe it. So now they've broken down anxiety, insert the issue there, into the components. No labels, emotions. Oh, I've got PTSD. No story. Oh, this has happened to me because my dad abused me, whatever it is. They've broken it down to the components. And I'll ask them to just keep observing and feeling into the experiment. This is what I mean, little mind experiments. Most of my shit that I do with people, their eyes are open. So it's really dehypnotizing them. They're looking at me the whole time. And they'll get to a process where they'll stop and it will run its course. And I'll say something along the lines of, and now as you feel that pulsation in your neck, where's the threat labeled anxiety now? And they'll often be like, do the transderivational search. They're like, well, look, there's no anxiety. It's just pulsating and a tension. And know that. And know that. And when I say know that, I'm not talking about in their head because most of my clients are smart. I know you're smart as well. I mean, embody that. I mean, know that. And I'll keep, this is not the only thing I do, but I'll keep looping back, dismantling the whole way they thought about thinking. An example of which is this. Every time I do magic and I do illusions. I also like professional wrestling. I like the circus. I like hypnosis. I like things that are not real. You're like, hypnosis is real. None of it's real. And I can say this because I've been doing it 25 years. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. Doesn't mean it's not effective. In the same way that my clients' anxiety isn't real. Doesn't mean they're not suffering. Doesn't mean they're not in a bad place. They're just doing visuals. They're doing sounds. They're doing sensations. Labeled this. That's what I mean. Let me, and I'll be saying this to my clients, but I'll be dropping lots of little stories like this to get them to see through the illusion. See through the illusion labeled fear, anxiety, depression, sadness. And I'll be like, what I loved about magic is when I first saw David Copperfield chop himself in half. Oh, it's amazing. I was about 9 years old and I was watching it on British TV and he's got this ginormous saw and he's tied to this table. There's a big arena he's in, sitting 10 to 20,000 people. They got this music. I think it's Phil Collins. It was in the late 80s, 90s. So you get the vibe. Everything was Phil Collins back then. And there's this big giant saw that comes down, chops him in half. And then they pull his body. So he's now looking at his feet, moving. He got no torso, but there's no blood. And he's still alive. But I see his torso is now cut away from his legs that are moving. How is this possible? As a kid, I'm watching this. I'm falling for the illusion. He's been chopped in half. Must be real. It's on TV, right? God had me for years. So then I learned magic, and there's this guy out there called the Masked Magician. And he showed me how it was done with smoke and mirrors. So now when I ever see David Copperfield or anyone cutting off, I don't fall for the same illusion anymore because I know it's done. Smoke, mirrors, doubles, duplicates, twins. Now I can't ever see it the same way again. I'm dropping things like this on my client, not to get them to release the emotion, not to reframe the belief in the way that, oh, I used to be had by David Copperfield being cut in half. And now I watch it and I can't watch it with the same vim and vigor I did as a 9-year-old. It doesn't affect me the same way anymore because the curtain's been pulled back. Curtain's been pulled back. It's a bit like, The Wizard of Oz, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Wizard of Oz. Loved it. And at the end, has anyone seen The Wizard of Oz here? Give me an X if you've seen The Wizard of Oz. Thank you. Whether you've watched it in the Sphere in Vegas or on black and white TV like when I was a kid. Love The Wizard of Oz. Think it's so interesting how it relates to hypnosis and change work. So I don't know if you remember at the end, Dorothy, she's about to meet the big, powerful, hulking wizard. He got to be 7 feet tall, right? He got to be like 800 pounds of muscle, right? A godly-like figure with this booming voice. She's intimidating and she's never met him because she's seen the projection of him on the screens. She's heard the booming voice. Dorothy, she's quivering. She's scared. She's in Oz. Peripheral vision. She just feels the need to look to her right as the curtain blows. And she sees there's a little old shriveled up man, skinny, smaller than her, with a big booming voice with these microphones that are making his voice seem booming, with these projectors that are making him seem huge. Then the penny drops. That's the wizard? I thought he was going to be 7 feet tall. 700 pounds of hulking muscle. With this big, booming, powerful voice. He's just a little old, shriveled up prune of a man who's been using voice modulation. Don't know where they had that in the 1930s, but they were forward thinking, weren't they? And these big projectors, maybe they knew they were going to be on the Sphere one day. And she was never scared of the wizard again because she saw through the illusion. Everything I do with my client is not trying to release the emotion. It's not trying to change the belief. It's changing them on a thinking level. Because when the thought comes up marked, I'm scared of the wizard, you don't have to reframe. Let's let go. Let's go back to root cause. Let's tap it away. All useful, by the way. Use all of those tools, by the way, myself. Don't need to reframe it and use our linguistic excellence. All very useful, by the way. Surface level and up. When my clients, one of the things I finish my last sessions off with clients is I say this. I've taken through a whole experience and I'm just sharing some of it with you today. And the whole thing is helping them see through illusions, seeing through the con, seeing through the magic trick, how they fall in professional wrestling and are not, how can they get dropped, go on a top rope and drop from the top rope through a table that's on fire and not die? They're all great athletes, but they know how to fall. They know how to land. They're all practiced. They can never see it the same way again. It's all a con. But people like hypnosis, it's all a con. People are like, con, Luke, this is not con. I'm not a con person. No, all con means is confidence person. The confident hypnotist. The con, wrestling, magic, hypnosis, change work. And their problem is a con. Do you know how I know their problem's a con? Well, I'm terrified about going on the aeroplane, but you're not on the bloody aeroplane. You're at home, sitting on your couch. But you can still do this thing called fear. Oh, remember? Seeing through the illusion. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just an illusion, isn't it? It's a little shriveled old guy. Oh, yeah, I can have that thought labeled fear of the aeroplane and realize it's just a thought labeled fear of the aeroplane. It's not the aeroplane. Because if it was the aeroplane's fault, everyone who ever got on an aeroplane would be scared. And most people aren't. Some people are. Or everyone I've ever met can do fear of the aeroplane, that have fear of the aeroplane as a reported problem, even when they're not on the aeroplane, when their feet are comfortably on the ground and they're in a safe environment. They're being had. They're being worked, to use a carny term, a term in professional wrestling that goes back to the carnival days. It's called a mark. In the carnival days, somebody would be walking around and one of the carnival vendors would draw an X on the back of their shoulder. So anytime they went past another carnival vendor, like, when you throw the coconut and you're knocking all the cans over, or the fake gun thing where you're shooting things, the X means you're a mark. They've already marked you out. You're an easy con. It makes its way into professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling. You know what the term for professional wrestling fan is? Is a mark. We're being had. I know I'm being had, but I enjoy being had. I know it's not real, but they're athletes and they get hurt. I accept it, but I still enjoy it. We're all being turned, our clients and us were marks to our problem. We're being had, being conned. And nobody likes the idea of being had or being conned, right? None of us, right? None of us wants to know. We're being knowingly conned. It's not even, it's a well-orchestrated heist. We're just being had by a lousy, weak con, like the carnival goer. They've drawn an X. The Tao of Mr. B, my cat, is making a cameo. You know, it's always a good session when Mr. B makes a cameo right here. You might see his face later on. Another little thing I dropped there. Of course, I don't want to be being conned. Yeah, but you've been being conned by your own thoughts. But it's not your fault because you didn't know this until now. But now you know it. So when you go into the future and you can imagine that thought labeled, I can't talk to the pretty girl. I can't give that talk to the Fortune 500. I can't play in the pool, the snooker tournament. Can't talk to a bunch of hypnotists on a Sunday morning at the conference at 11:53. You're going to realize I'm a con. Oh, but it's just a thought labeled con. It's just a thought labeled imposter syndrome. It's just a thought labeled I'm not going to be able to perform on the snooker table. And know that. Know that. So now our clients are no longer scared of the thought. I could have the thought of shooting up with heroin all day. I'm straight edge. See that X there? I've never done a drug in my life. But I seem to attract a lot of people who want to work with me to get drug free. They think I've done every drug known to man. I've drank less than 5 times in my whole life before the age of 20. But they see that in me, so I use it and I help them. I can have the thought labeled heroin 60,000 times a day if I want. Be a bit bloody boring life though, wouldn't it? But I've never used heroin. I'm not scared of the thought labeled injecting heroin. There's no emotion attached to it. There's no story attached to it. It's just like the thought of murdering my neighbor. I've never murdered any of my neighbors that we can talk about on air right now. Why do you think I'm in Canada and not in England? No, I love everybody equally. Everything I do is letting my clients come back to being empowered. Well, Luke, I had this problem called anxiety. We've dealt with that. I've got this problem called I can't stop smoking. Well, I could charge you another $2,500 for a session, or you could realize it's just a thought labeled smoking. It's just a thought labeled craving. It's just a thought labeled, oh, I can't be sociable with my friends if I don't smoke or drink. Oh, now it generalizes to all areas of their life. Every issue is just a thought. Chronic pain. Are you in pain now? No. But I know later on when I do the military press above my head, do you have a pain now? No. No, it's just a thought labeled chronic pain in my arm, shoulder, that when I lift heavy weights later on, I'll have a problem. It applies to everything, all of the time. And it can take a while for the penny to drop. I have to keep circling back on this. Multiple stories, multiple times to enable people to start to get this. An example, who has children here? Give me an X. Young children under the age of 10? Oh, quite a few of you. All right. I have no children that I'm aware of. But imagine that your kid was terrified of the monster under the bed. And you're like, all right, Sally, all right, little Johnny, there's no monster under your bed. But whatever you do, don't look under your bed. Client, oh, I've got this thing called anxiety. Oh, yeah, let's go back to the root cause. Let's talk about it, let's experience it. But it's not really there. But it's like saying to little Johnny or little Sally, don't look underneath the bed. My whole thing is allowing people to look under their proverbial bed to realize there's nothing there. Or what is there is a bunch of clothing that when the light hit it a certain way, it seemed like it was a human being. But it's just a thought labeled scary monster under my bed. Oh, and it was just a bunch of clothes when I looked last time, wasn't it? That's all it was, some dirty clothes. And know that. Know that. So now when they wake up in the middle of the night and the thought labeled, oh, scary man underneath my bed, the thought's probably going to come up because we're a human being. We have all kinds of weird thoughts. 60,000 a day, apparently, Richard Bandler says, of which 3,000 out of 60,000, 3,000 are positive. It's already against us. 57,000 negative thoughts a day. It's already going uphill. So the negative thought comes in, the scary monster underneath my bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to freak out. Oh no, just being had. Like Luke was had by Copperfield back in 89. By the way that I used to be had when I'd go to the carnival and they'd draw the X that called me, that means I'm a mark, that I'm easy prey for them to take my money. I don't want to be a mark. I don't want to be conned by anyone. Certainly don't want to be conned by myself. And know that. Know that. This isn't intellectual masturbation. It's not what I'm looking for. It's a felt sense inside the body, a knowing, a wisdom inside the body, where there's a release. Not because we're going back to root cause, not because we're tapping it away, not because we're doing some finger holds, not because we're linguistically reframing, and knowing that. So all my work is about circling back to these little stories, these little antidotes to inoculate people against their thought. Hey, should I be a bit controversial now? If I should be controversial, give me the X. All right, getting about 60% of people. By the way, I didn't make this system up. I'm using this system from a guy called Jørgen Rasmussen in Norway, adapted by Howard Cooper in England. This is just my take on it. I didn't make any of this shit up. I do a thing with some of my clients. They're coming in with anxiety. I'm anxious about that big talk I got to give tomorrow. And it's a 10 out of 10, the anxiety. Okay. So then I'll do something worse for them. I'll call it the serial killer experiment or the burning room experiment. I won't do it with you, but I'll give you the cliff notes. I'll walk my clients through an imaginary scenario that's far worse than their fear. Could be being burned alive in the burning room. It could be being killed like Saw style by a serial killer. Something far worse than whatever their fear is. And they'll go through it viscerally. And I deliberately use provocative language in the way that I look and the way that I appear because I want this shit to come up in my clients. So I'll take them through an experience like the burning room where they're imagining they're in a room that is burning and they're feeling the sensations and the emotions. Oh. And we'll go through a cycle of that I've built up this in their neurology. And I'll be like, on a scale of 0 to 10, how unpleasant was that? Lucas, fucking 10 out of 10. Skin's burning off of me. Oh, it was horrible. Why did you make me do that? I thought you were supposed to be healing me. Oh, Luke, that was terrible. Then I'll get him to do it again. I'll be like, was it fair to say that experiment labeled the burning room or the serial killer experiment? Is it fair to say that what you just went through in your neurology, your mind-body system, that was a far worse problem than one you came in with, labeled I need to talk to a bunch of Fortune 500 people? They're like, yeah. Okay. So we're going to do the experiment again. But this time, the only difference is you know it's just a thought. We're going to do the whole experiment again, but you're going to go with it and know it's just a thought labeled burning room. It's just an experiment thought labeled the serial killer experiment. It's just a thought. And we're going to go through, and I go through it again, and I'm pumping it up, and I'm using provocative language, visceral images, and we'll get through a cycle of it. I'll be like, so where's your fear now? 0. Well, why? I didn't ask you to release the negative emotion. I didn't ask you to tap it away. I didn't ask you to reframe it. No, but I knew it was just a thought. It wasn't really happening. It was just a thought. It wasn't really happening. It was just a thought. I know it wasn't really happening. Most of us like to buy stuff, right? We like to go on Amazon and buy stuff. We love to buy. We love accumulating things, but we don't like being sold. I'm not here to sell my client on the change. I'm here for them to buy in, because we all like to buy shit. We never like to be sold by the used car salesman. Oh, you should hire me because I'm great, great, great. I'm not in the selling business. You like to buy. I want to make it easy for you to buy in to the change. If I'm like blah, 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 and if I join all the dots up for my clients, I've done them a disservice. All these stories are point them back. So when we get to the end, if not before, the thought labeled anxiety, the thought labeled grief, the thought labeled depression, the thought labeled PTSD comes up. Oh, that was just like the Wizard of Oz thing with the curtain and the David Copperfield being chopped open, and Luke saying about wrestling and that thinking wrestling was real until the age of 9. Yeah. So it's just a thought labeled anxiety. It's a thought labeled giving a big talk. It's a thought labeled PTSD. It's a thought labeled that my dad didn't love me, my mum didn't love me, my wife, my husband left me. It's just the sensations in my body, the visions in my head, the sounds in my ear, the sensations in my body, the soft, the heavy, the light, the dark, the moving, the still. Multiple sign points with their eyes open most of the time. They're really dehypnotized to make them come back to the same road, the same highway, the same destination labeled. It's just a thought. And you were had up until now. And it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. But now you know it was just a thought. You'll never be able to be conned again. You'll never be able to see David Copperfield cut in half again and think it was real, because you know how it's done. You'll never be able to watch another professional wrestling match and think, oh, he's really hurting him, because you know how it's done. You'll never be able to be scared of the big, powerful Wizard of Oz, because you realise it's just a thought labelled little scrawny, prune-like man who's hunched over, who in real life has got a voice like this. You'll never go to the carnival, the fair. You'll look over your shoulder, you realise, oh, there's no X on me today. I'm not a mark, and I'm not a mark to myself or to my emotions, or more importantly, to my train of thought. Give me one of these. And know that. Know that. I got a shit more I could say, but I realise I've been speaking for 50 minutes. If any of you got any questions, which I'm sure you do, put in the comments, or if you can be unmiked, if we were allowed to be unmiked, I'll be happy to answer any questions based on what I've been banging on about. Patty loves my mind. Thank you. Thank you, Patty. Patty, excuse me. Oh, Karen. I'm brilliant. Thank you, Karen. Winter, love this. Thank you. And this isn't, I'm not saying you don't do what you normally do. What you do works for you. That's great. I'm not here to say don't do this. Like I mentioned, the releasing negative emotions. I reframing stuff, timeline, regression. I use it all at the right time. But I like this because they can always have the thought, and it don't hurt them anymore. It doesn't make them suffer anymore. And I see my job is helping people stop the suffering. Can't ever stop the thought. A thought's going to bubble up. Thoughts will always bubble up. Any of you meditated? I used to do this thing called Vipassana meditation. And I got really good going on these retreats for 11 days where you couldn't look at anyone, couldn't talk to anyone, couldn't have the cell phone, couldn't read, no contact, no verbals. It was non-verbal meditation retreat. And I could get really good after 11 days of this. I could meditate. for 75 minutes without moving my body. They call it meditating with serious determination. And I could catch a thought that would come up and I could grab it within 5 seconds and rechannel it to scan my body. That was the best I ever got. Was 75 minutes. I could grab a thought that was gearing off to something else and pull it. But I could never stop the thought from coming up. Neither can you. Neither can any of your clients. It's called biology. It's like bubbles in champagne. Or if you're straight edge like me, Diet Pepsi. The bubbles are always going to come up. You can't stop the bubbles. Be okay with the bubbles. I'll give you one more thing. And if anyone's got any questions, I'm looking at the chat here as well. And if you're unmuted, you've got a question, but I'll give you this. This is you. This is your client. This is them. This is you. This is the thing labeled problem. Problem comes, problem goes. This is called life. If you want to stop this from happening, then die. And I don't recommend that. You, problem, life, can't ever stop it. This is not a problem, by the way. It's called living. When we do this, this is now the problem, because now I've got resistance to the experience. None of us can stop this from happening. It's called living. I'm in the business of helping people stop doing this. Comes, it goes. I feel happy, I feel sad. I feel light, I feel heavy. I've got some nervousness today and now I feel confident. It's called life. This is where I come in. And this is where I think most of us come in. They make the clients give us the call, book the screening call, because they are suffering. Your trauma, your client's trauma was not their choice when it happened to them. But them replaying it over and over in their head is absolutely their choice if they want to hold on to it. Can't stop the thought coming up, not their choice. Am I going to continue to hold on to it? Choice. Have you let go of it? Just don't resist it. Got some questions here. Raise your hand if you... Melanie says, raise your hand if you need me to unmute someone.
Amy's
Luke.
unmuted. She's got a question for you.
Hey, Amy, how are you? What's your question?
Hey, Luke. So my question is, out of all of like the analogies and stories that you have shared tonight and the ones that you share with clients, which one do you feel is the one that, you know, just makes a penny drop with your client? That one.
And I'll do it like I did with you guys, not to be condescending, to keep redirecting them, because I'm planting this early. Yeah, but Luke, when I think about tomorrow, when you think about, point to tomorrow. I know we do timelines, some of us, and stuff like that, but really there isn't a tomorrow, you know, objective reality. I'm in the business of objective reality. I keep coming back to this. This is not a pipe. It's a picture of a pipe. The image, the sensation on your body, in your body, is not the event. It could never be the event, ever. In a million years, it could in a million years, this picture doesn't suddenly become a pipe. It will always only be a picture of a pipe. There ain't no amount of AI they're ever going to create that magically, suddenly this is now real. And it actually becomes a physical pipe, and it's not a CGI. It's a picture. It's a thought. But if I just come out and say that to my clients, it's just a thought. Well, I know it's just a thought, Luke. It doesn't stop it from coming up. They think the issue is it's coming up. No, the issue is you've been conned, you've been had, you've been worked, you've been manipulated by your thought. Does that answer your question, Amy? Cool. Technically, it's a video of a picture of a pipe. Jeff, you're right. It's not even a picture of a pipe. It's another level beyond that. Not even a picture. I was working with you with the picture. It's a video of a picture of a pipe. How could it ever be real? Ever. Could never be real. Ever. And know that. Thanks, Beryl. Love the visual, William. Thank you. Yeah, I find when you do Zoom a lot, you gotta be using shit, right? To like keep people captivated. because we're all here listening to one another, and as interesting and as amazing speakers we are, we have a tendency for our mind to wander. We all do it. I'm just trying to keep your attention on me. To heal some wound where my mum didn't give me love as a little kid. Now I need everyone's attention and love. Going into story. We all do it. All the time. Any more questions, anyone? I've got about 3 more minutes left, I think.
I have a question.
Yeah, who's speaking?
Winter.
Oh, Winter. Really cool name.
Yeah, thank you. I really have enjoyed, I was really captivated everything you said. Is there, do you have a website or somewhere we could learn more about this? Because
Yeah.
I took a lot of notes, but.
Cool. So I know that Melanie and Sean are recording this, so I don't know how we get copies of it, but maybe speaking to those about it is good. Got a couple minutes left. I will share my website, if that's okay, in the comments when I drop off in a minute. I'm going to share a link right now. And the link says stop binge drinking. And don't worry about the term binge drinking. It was designed because I got good at helping people with it. It's my whole first session that I would do with a client. If a client couldn't afford me because I'm bloody expensive, they would do this, and this would be the next best thing. It's a recorded session that essentially I would do with every client, but it's generative to any of their issues. It's like the black box. They can insert any of their problem, but much of the stuff I'm talking about today is in this 90-minute video. The link's in the chat box now, and you can model it. Because I modeled it from people. I just got a bit from here, a bit from Jurgen, a bit from Howard, a bit from wrestling, a bit from my own life, a bit, and I put it into something that works for me. But that's how I do basically every one of my first sessions. And you might be, isn't that a disservice to clients? Well, no, because I fit their specific problems in and around it. But that's what I've just dropped in there. Feel free to kind of, if you want to get it, it's cheap, and you can model what I do in some of my stories and insert your own stories. And I'll put my other websites in there in a minute so you can watch some of my stuff or follow me on the socials and all that good stuff. I'll add that in a minute.
Yeah, and Luke,
Thank you.
we'll also have your video along with everybody else's video from this conference in the Learning Library of HEA. And in there, you can have space to put, a little more description, some links, what other information you'd like for people to discover about you.
Beautiful. And I'm going to be here the rest of the afternoon. You got any questions? I'll look back into the chats and answer it, or you can reach out to me or whatever. Happy to answer any of your questions. And again, I'm wrapping up real fast because I know we've got another speaker coming on. As the time is up. Oh, perfect. They call it moment mastery. If you enjoyed today, give me one of these.
Seriously awesome. It's interesting because I had a little slip, but I think it's perfect. I wrote in the chat that existence times resistance equals suffering. I would existentially angsty say that's true too. But I think the quote that stuck with me through everything that you just said is experience time resistance equals suffering. So thank you for that.
And one more time for Luke. Woo! Come on, get them all up. There we go. Love you, man.
Yeah, totally.
Love you.